Buddy Mike with Enviroscape LA. So here we are in the middle of a project. This is 2022. I've been fielding a lot of calls about drip irrigation. So I'm going to make a quick overview of drip irrigation and how drip irrigation works, how it's put in, and what to look for if you're going to do it yourself or if you're going to ask a contractor to do it for you. So first things first, in the middle of the street, there's this big giant pipe, and every city's different, but in the middle of the street there's this big feeder pipe that has water, and then it tees off and it goes into each house. So in the case of this home that we're at here in Southern California, it goes into the house, and then it's what we call daylights out, or it comes out of a wall. Now this is, check this out, this is where it comes out of the wall from the house right here, and then the plumber put a hose bib here. Well, there's a shut-off valve right here. If I close that, turn the handle, it'll actually shut the irrigation, all the irrigation down. Now that's important to know. Now how do I know this is irrigation? Because see the white pipe under here? That's PVC pipe. That's only connected to the irrigation. It's not connected to the inside. The inside actually has copper pipe, everyth's copper. Now that pipe, that PVC plastic white pipe goes underground, comes underneath here, and it gets connected over here. So these are drip irrigation valves. This is a new native garden that we just installed, or we're installing, we're not done yet. But anyway, these are the Rainbird drip irrigation valves. Rainbird has a patent on this valve that it will always shut off. Sometimes if you use a valve that's not specifically made for drip irrigation, it may not shut off, and so your system may be on 2 or 3 days before you realize it, and it's like a muddy mess, and who wants to waste water, right, in this day and age? Now, one of the things about the Rainbird valves, if you check down here, there's actually something that screws off right here. Let's take a look at this, get a close-up of this. So this is a drip irrigation filter. So this gets a little, actually it has a little bit of debris. I don't think you can see it there, but it has a little bit of debris, so I'm gonna just kind of wash that out and put her back. Now this is not just a drip irrigation filter, but also there is a drip irrigation pressure reducer, because you don't want super high pressure going through drip irrigation. It's not glued together, it has pressure fittings, so they could blow off if the pressure is too high. This also comes in a kit, a Rainbird kit, where it has the valve, the pressure reducer, and the filter. So you want to ask for that, and depending on how much drip you're blowing through there, it could be 30 to 40 pressure PSI. Okay, now when the sprinkler timer, we should talk about this too. Let's back up a little bit over here. And by the way, this area right here, this is going to be a food forest. There's going to be micro sprays that go throughout all of these veggie boxes that were just built. This right here is the sprinkler timer. We haven't hooked it up yet, but this is what it looks like when you do the timer. This white wire goes into the common, and then each one of these represents a sprinkler valve. So those just get screwed in there to each one, and then you can program it, zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, and so on. And then you can put an optional rain off, so that you can, a rain sensor out there, so if it does rain, it has a filter in it, it puffs out, shuts the system down until things dry out. So highly recommend it. We haven't installed that yet. So anyway, come and follow me. So this is, what we're doing is right now, we're gonna hook up micro sprays here. So this is gonna be a combination of drip irrigation and micro sprays. Now, what happens when you do put the system, when the clock or the timer does tell you to go on, if I survive this video, it's a miracle. So what happens is every 12 inches, wherever there's a drip hole, let's come out here. Wherever there's a drip hole, there's every 12 inches, you're going to see moisture coming out. And so what we recommend is to go build a grid every 12 inches. So you go down one row, and then you move over, then you go another 12 inches, and you build a grid. And then at the very end, you have what's called the clean out. Now what the clean out does is there's nothing, no filter on the drip market is 100%. And so that being the case, you want to put what's called a clean out. So at the very, very end of the line, we just close it with a figure 8, and then in about a year or two, you come back, you open up the line, open up the valve, and all the nasty stuff, there's always a little bit of nasty stuff, dirt and sediment, it blows out, and then you're good for another 1 to 2 years. Now, I highly recommend, because drip irrigation, it's like a big balloon underneath the ground, and when water pressure turns on, it's at a high velocity, it goes poof. Just for a second, it goes poof. But the problem is that if your drip irrigation goes on a few hundred times in the first 5 years, it's poof, poof, poof. All that will actually weaken the joints that are in drip irrigation. You can see right here, there's this has a T on it, so there's 3 joints right here. So all that gets a little bit weaker every time if you don't have an air relief valve. But if you do have an air relief valve, the air relief valve relieves the air whenever it turns on. This is what it looks like, and I highly recommend it because it'll ensure that your system basically lasts forever. Oops, that's a shut off. We're gonna plant bulbs in this area, and the bulbs are not, they'll rot if you have constant water to them. So we put a shut off here, so when they plant the bulbs, that's when this is going to get turned on. This looks just like the ARV valve, or the air relief valve. Here is the ARV valve right here. So let me show you what this looks like. There it is. When the valve turns on, this thing pops up, lets air out, and then when it goes off, it goes back down again. Really simple. So that's an overview, and what we like using the Rainbird Copper Shield technology, 0.6 gallon per hour for LA. It's great. Capillary action pulls it from, a whole. Well, let me show you. This drip right here, it has there's an emitter right here. It's on the other side though. Okay, here's one right here. So when this valve is on, it drips a little more than ½ gallon per hour. Here's another hole right here. Well, capillary action, once the water comes out, it starts pulling it, and then they meet. And so the whole root zone area gets filled with water. And because that's how plants grow in nature, is the whole area gets watered, not just one little piece. The thing about the Rainbird Copper Shield technology, now why is it called Copper Shield? No, it's not made out of copper. Even though it's copper colored, it's not made out of copper. Every 12 inches, there's the little hole actually has a built-in emitter, and it has a little strip of copper about that long. The copper creates a negative ion that creates an acid that makes sure that roots don't go in there, because if roots go in there and they grow, they plug it up, and it renders it ineffective. So the Rainbird Copper Shield technology is the first on the market to actually figure this out, so you don't have to put dangerous herbicides or pesticides inside your line to blow out the roots. It just automatically keeps them out. I mean, how safe is copper? You bring water into your house with copper line. So it's simple, but those are the things, those are the principles. Make sure you have the proper timer with the rain shutoff. Make sure you have the Rainbird Copper Shield technology. Drip irrigation, make sure you put the lines every 12 inches, and also make sure you put an air relief valve along with the regular Rainbird valve, which comes as a kit, and it has the pressure reducer as well as the filter. Mike with Enviroscape LA signing off. What do you think Ace Irrigation think? Enviroscape LA. Take care.